Hello everyone, my name is Cosmify, and listen, I know I just made a long form video like a few days ago at the time of recording this, but when I tell you that in the course of a few days, we have just gotten so much more information about episode 6 and the amazing digital circus in general, I am not bluffing. Because apparently giving us an entire minute of the episode, which is pretty good for a sneak peek, was not good enough for Glitch Productions. They have once again updated the wackywatch.com with a teaser, actually no, an entire banquet of information about the characters and possibly the upcoming episode if we look hard enough. So in today's video, I'm going to be giving you guys a rundown of everything I noticed about this website because it's one of those things where you get different text every time you refresh it, which just takes such a long time to compile. And also there's just a lot of tomfoolery going on with the source code. And also giving my predictions on how this may be relevant to the plot of episode 6 and specifically how Kane may act as we progress through the series. So first of all, in case you're not familiar with what the wackywatch.com is, it's basically the go-to place for teasers on upcoming digital circus episodes, besides Glitch's Twitter and YouTube obviously. It's the same place where we got this lovely image as well before episode 5 came out. And as of yesterday, Glitch has posted a video to their Twitter and YouTube letting all of us know that the website has been converted to the annual, amazing, unforgettable, incredible, absolutely not rigged award show. So first of all, I should go ahead and get this out of the way immediately. The award show is absolutely rigged. In case Kane didn't make it obvious enough in his video or Glitch's promos for it, he is the one orchestrating this entire thing. Now at first, it didn't really seem like too much was up. I mean, yeah, Kane put himself at the top and made his icon shinier and better looking than the others, and also had a thing on his fun fact page saying you should probably vote for him, but nothing that actually affected the votes directly. However, after around a day or two of that, Kane has begun displaying error messages anytime you try to vote for anyone other than him. Want to vote for Pomni? Oh no, it looks like there's been an error and you should vote for someone else instead. Are you really sure you want to vote for Gangle? Like, are you really sure? Because it would really be a shame if you wanted to vote for, I don't know, Kane, and you ended up accidentally voting for Kinger or something. Oh, I'm Kane, by the way. You should vote for me. Please vote for me. Please vote for me. Please vote for me. However, there's actually a way around it. So if you were to double click really fast on the person you actually want to vote for, it doesn't give you enough time for the error message to pop up and ends up actually letting you vote for that person. You can also vote multiple times by simply going into a Chrome guest tab and closing and reopening it, since the only way that the site can track whether or not you voted is based on cookies. Hi, okay, editor Cosmify here. So what I just said is actually now incorrect because they updated the website again. The way they're doing it now with these error messages makes it impossible to be able to double click to get rid of them, and all you can really do is spam the yes button until Kane regretfully allows you to vote for someone that isn't him. With the way they had it before, there was actually a mathematical mechanism to determine whether or not you would get an error message, as Reddit user the_real_Gobus04 pointed out, and also with the way it worked before, your first vote under whatever Wi-Fi network you were using would always return successful. The second vote would have an 80% chance of success, the third vote would have a 40% chance of success, and the fourth vote and beyond would always return a Kane error. Now, however, you're gonna get a Kane error no matter what you do. And honestly, the stuff I'm telling you at this very moment will likely be obsolete by tomorrow, because with every day that passes, Kane keeps finding new ways to disrupt the voting process. Another part of the new update is the fact that Kane's voting icon follows your cursor around, which just makes it even more difficult to vote for someone that isn't him. However, the method of using a guest profile to vote multiple times is still working as far as I know. Another thing that somewhat changed is the fact that the votes were getting stuck for some reason. However, I was able to fix this by adding a string that looks like this at the end of the website URL, so that way the server cache would give me new data for the voting. Speaking of voting, something else I noticed about the voting bars is the fact that there seems to be a blank space after them, which serves as maybe a limit for how high the bars can go. It looks like it might be set at 100,000, but we still have almost 5 days of voting left, so I honestly think they're just gonna change it to suit the incoming votes. Another thing I noticed is that if you highlight the leaderboard and paste it into Google Docs, you'll see tiny text near their profile pictures that says almost there. There are just so many little things here, and there are honestly ones that I probably haven't discovered yet, so if you discover anything, please leave it in the comments. Anyway, that's it from editor Cosmify. Let's go back to the other Cosmify. Back to the source code of the website, there are other things to be discovered here. Because something else that somewhat puzzled me upon first looking at the individual character pages was the fact that each character seemed to have a list of cool facts. Now, all of these facts seem to be randomly generated, except they're not. You see, while most of these facts are kind of meaningless, like seriously, what are we talking about here? There are some that stand out, particularly those in reference to the relationships among the characters. Now, there is text right here that very strongly advises against taking these seriously, honestly, I can't help but feel as though these ones should be taken a little more seriously than the others. But rather than constantly refreshing the page to find out what each character's relationships are, I decided to look in the source code. By right-clicking, pressing Inspect Element, then going over to the Network tab and reloading the website, you can see each individual network connection that the website is making. It's the same way that I was able to run the 24/7 vote counter thing. The ones that we're concerned with specifically are fetch requests, basically the website requesting data from an outside source. And in these fetch requests, we can find that each character has a specific list of random facts specifically for them. I just said specific way too many times. Most of the facts are the same, like I suggested earlier, but the relationship ones are all different. For example, Pomni has one that says they're Jax's best friend, whereas Gangle also has one for Jax, but it instead reads, they're Jax's friend, with a question mark at the end. So that being said, here are all of the differences that I was able to notice, along with a sort of relationship web that I'm going to construct based on it. Starting off with the friendships. So Pomni is best friends with Ragatha, Kinger, and Jax. Jax is only best friends with Pomni. Interesting. Gangle is best friends with Pomni and Zooble, which makes sense when you consider that those two were really the only ones to show her any kind of sympathy in episode 4, not to mention the fact that Pomni probably saved her from abstracting. Ragatha is only best friends with Pomni, same thing as Jax. That kind of makes sense to me because Ragatha definitely seems like the odd one out in most groups. She's a friend to everyone, except Jax, but she doesn't really stand out as a best friend to anyone, you know? Zooble is best friends with everyone except Jax, which makes a lot of sense honestly. I haven't really seen her talk to Pomni much, but they don't really seem to have any hostile feelings towards anyone besides Jax. Oh yeah, and Kane. Kinger is best friends with Pomni and Ragatha, which also makes sense, though it does surprise me to see that Kinger was even given a best friends list in the first place, considering he basically always has every screw loose possible. Last but not least, Kane of course is best friends with everyone, though I am somewhat surprised that Kane didn't somehow exclude Zooble, considering how mad at them he was throughout episode 5. Something to point out here is that in this friendship web, you could call it, Pomni is listed as other people's best friends the most, which I definitely think she deserves. Pomni is a very good person, unlike Jax, who has the least amount of best friends listing, with his only listing being under Pomni. Oh yeah, and Gangle with the question mark. Now as for the rivalry lists, they don't really seem to be as important, considering that Pomni has every character listed as a rival, even though we all know that's not true. Last but not least, there are also some facts that are Kane specific. Well, besides the Kane specific ones, there are entries on every character that say Kane is a madman, help us, save us, just backwards. But the Kane specific facts say bubble Y and also you should vote for him. Now obviously, I don't think Kane's behavior in regards to this whole website thing is actually going to affect episode 6 because, well, episode 6 is already nearly done. But I definitely think Kane feels negatively about the prospect of losing, and the fact that he's kind of rigging it just shows that he's somewhat of a control freak. Which definitely raises the question of, if the characters figured out a way to escape, would he let them? Honestly though, this kind of goes back to that one time when Gooseworks clarified something about Kane's behavior, which is that Kane is not malicious in nature. Only his actions while attempting to please the members of the circus may come off as malicious because he really doesn't know any better. And honestly, I have to admit that when Glitch put out this community post featuring Kane either crying or salivating, not really sure which one that would count as, I did feel bad enough to vote for him. However, Kane is still a con man, he's still rigging the votes, don't feel bad for him like I did. But I'm gonna go to sleep now, have a wonderful day, thank you for watching, bye bye.